Hello Winston, there's no need for introductions as we know each other quite well, but for the sake of the viewers and also digging deeper into your world for myself, let's start at the beginning. You were born and grew up in Sri Lanka, yes?
Yes, I did. It was the post-colonial era, so it was kind of an interesting place to grow up. I went to boarding school. That was an interesting experience. And at the age of 19, I left Sri Lanka to go to England to do tertiary studies, because my father thought a British tertiary education would count more in the world. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, 5 months after I left, he passed away. He was diagnosed with leukemia at the age of 48, and so that turned our world upside down. Mm-hmm. So I never actually went back to Sri Lanka. Instead, I stayed in England for 17 years, got my master's degree, etc., and then arrived in Australia in 1982.
And you continued working here in Australia as an engineer?
Yes, I did. I had a pretty good career, but then something was inside me made me think that I had a novel in me. So I went to writing classes because I thought the novel could be set in Sri Lanka, Britain, and here, 3 countries. For 1 year, I learned about writing a novel, and in the second year, I had to pick more subjects. So I picked a subject called Writing for Performance, in brackets, stage and screen. And when I started that subject, I read a screenplay for the first time, and I just fell completely in love with it because I have quite a good visual mind, and I realized that reading the screenplay, I could see the movie. So I gave up the novel and took to film screenwriting.
So you gave up your career to do that? Was that a rash move?
It was a rash move, thinking about it financially. But you know, in the end, you've got to do something what turns you on. And I heard Sean Penn talking recently, and he was told, he was asked why he smokes, because he smokes incessantly. And he said, well, you've got to find something that you love and let it kill you. That's kind of how I feel about filmmaking.
So tell us what you've done in the world of filmmaking so far.
Well, in the last decade and a half, I've made something like 15 short films. I've done 3 stage plays, significant stage plays, 2 on stage, and 1 was outdoors in Templestowe, one of our green suburbs, and it was an enactment of a Hindu epic called the Ramayana. It's full of color and all kinds of things, action, and somebody came out of the audience afterwards and said they'd seen multiple versions of the Ramayana and said mine was the best they'd ever seen, so that's pretty chuffed with that, yeah. And then later on, I mortgaged my home for a few $100,000 and made a feature film, which was called Taj. And as I said, the rest is history.
I've seen Taj, and it's a great and engaging and insightful exploration of human relationships. Where can people see these works?
This is an area that I'm not very good at. But we're building a new website called fileitfilms.com. Originally, my company was called Ozinda Films, which is a take of Oz in India. And hopefully in the next couple of months, this site will be up, and if you get on there, you'll be able to see all my works.
But what about directing films?
Everything I've done, all the short films and even the stage plays, I've written, directed, produced or co-produced, and also done the editing. Now, the thing with editing is it's just another version of writing. It's the final rewrite of the film, if you like, yeah.
You've also got several screenplays you've written, but you haven't yet made?
Yes, I have. I've got 4 screenplays that I've written, which are pretty well polished, the people who read them, and a lot of short films and short plays. The problem is the writing is fairly straightforward. I kind of know how to do that fairly well. But you need money and resources and cast and crew and a whole lot of things to get them made. That's the hard bit. It's not that I'm not interested in horror and science fiction and special effects or writing about stories set in the future or in the past. They're just too hard. And this is my advice to filmmakers, beginning or whatever. Try and write social dramas set in Melbourne because they're the easiest to make.
We're doing this interview as part of a 3-day 7 Colours Film and Arts Festival. So on the opening day of the festival, you were chief guest on a panel discussing a topic that asks the question, what makes a top-notch film? You say it's not money or passion or hard work or great actors or great cinematography. So what is it?
Well, I contend that the number one thing you need to get right is the screenplay. So that's the secret, or the magic ingredient. With screenplays, you want a good story and it needs to be told well. The reason I also say that and encourage young filmmakers or filmmakers beginning to take it seriously is that with screenplays, you can learn how to write good screenplays. It would be really hard to learn how to write a novel, or how to paint like Picasso or whatever. But screenplays, you can learn how to do it.
So where would you start learning how to do screenplays?
First thing you need is an idea, right? Or maybe the seed of an idea. Then you need to think about, how do I take this seed of an idea forward? And you have to think about structure. Now, all screenplays, even if it's 2 minutes, have a natural structure, and that's the beginning, the middle, and the end. The beginning is the setup, where you set up what the story is about, the characters. The middle is the complications that arise, because the character is usually on a quest of some kind, trying to get something done. So there's complications, and then the resolution. And in the end, it's about transformations. So that if the character at the beginning is the same at the end, then there's no transformation. There really is no story. Something has to change in the character, his or her worldview, or something about them has to have changed. So that's fundamentally the structure, and you need to keep that in your mind.
So where do you get these ideas from?
Well, I say, don't copy ideas. If you've seen something on Netflix, whatever, don't try to just make another version of it. You need to find original ideas. So what I say is, be aware of what's going on in the world, the way you see the world. Keep a ear out for quirky things that happen, right? Things people say, jokes you've heard, the interactions between your parents or your friends. There's always something there that just clicks. Pick up that idea and then see if you can develop it. Now, I'll give you an example of a film I made. Years and years ago, I was running a garage sale, and this woman came up, and there was some kind of quirky ornament on the desk, and she picked it up, and she looked at it, and she looked at it, and she turned it around and held it up to the light. A good 3-4 minutes, she's examining the bottom of it and everything. And then she says to me, "How much?" And I said, $1. And she put the thing down and walked away. And I'm thinking, what was that about? Was $1 too cheap? Or why did she spend so much time and energy looking at this thing? And when I named a price, she walked away. So that gave me an idea for a film. And I'm going to show you that film now. It's called Price to Clear. See what you think.
Look at this. A moonflower cactus. Ah, they're so beautiful in full flower. Need a lot of nurturing though. What do you think?
Oh, not really my thing. Cacti.
How much for the scooter?
$20?
You take 15.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Them woman, The way she's checking out that ornament like she's at the Antiques Roadshow or something. Like it's freaking precious.
Well, maybe it is to her. Maybe it's exactly what she's been looking for. How much?
$1.
You won't believe what just happened.
What?
The woman. Well, she's looking at that ornament for what, a good 2 minutes? Then she asks how much. The guy says $1, and she puts the thing back down. I don't get it.
I'm going to get these two.
Right. Would you like a bag?
Oh, no, thank you.
That's $20, please.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Full sun is good.
I know. Thank you. Let's go. Open up.
I mean, what was that all about?
Are you still going on about that? That woman?
What?
Give me the keys. I'll drive.
Why would you spend a whole 2 minutes looking at something that you didn't think was worth $1?
Perhaps she'd already decided she didn't want it and she was simply curious about what it was going for.
$1!
Pass me the Vivaldi CD. I mean, why is this incident bothering you?
It's not.
Carefully.
Well, you wouldn't get a man doing that.
Really?
What's that for? The sarcasm.
Let's just go.
You don't agree?
I've been thinking. I don't think we should go ahead and redo the back garden. I'll just put the cacti out near the front porch. It's quite sunny out there.
Look, it's a fact. A man knows what he wants and he goes for it.
Christ's sake, Darren, are you serious?
It's just biology.
Oh, so now you're a biologist.
50,000 years ago, would a hunter bother chasing a gazelle with a spear if he didn't think he could get close enough to actually spear it?
What?
But why would he invest time and energy into something that he thought had no value? It doesn't make sense, that's all. You remember Bjorn Borg, the tennis player? Ice Borg, they used to call him.
Before my time.
Well, I've got the tapes, you should watch it. Anyway, he used to do this thing. Whenever he was faced with an ace or a great passing shot, he didn't stretch out madly to try to get his racket on it. He'd judge instantly that he couldn't make anything of it. He'd go back to his mark and wait for the next point. He's a great player.
Hey, honey. What's up? You okay?
Are you home?
Yeah. Want to come over?
Yeah, I do.
Come and have tea. I'll cook your favourite and we'll open a Shiraz. Is Darren going to be okay with you coming over? Actually, Jim's at a loose end tonight.
Okay, I'll come.
Great. 6:30 okay?
Yep, 6:30.
See you then, darling.
Yep.
Hey, I heard some of that. Sounds like you're fixing to go out to Jenny's tonight.
Yeah.
But it's Saturday night.
Yeah?
Well, what am I going to do? Oh, come on, I don't want to sit at home on my own eating pizza and watching Netflix.
Ring Jim. Maybe the two of you can grab your spears and go and chase down some gazelle.
Come on, Elaine, it's Saturday night.
That was a very powerful unpacking of a relationship that came out of a garage sale that didn't go through. So how did you develop it from that idea into that relationship?
Okay, now some years ago I read a book, and if you're watching this film and you want to be a filmmaker, then maybe look for this book. It's called Emotional Structure, right? And it's by a writer called Peter Dunne, D-U-N-N-E. What Peter Dunne says is that in all stories there are really two storylines, right? The first one he calls the plot. The second one he calls the story. The plot is what happens. This happens, then this happens, then this happens, right? The story is what those happenings do. So it's like what happens does to the people it happens to. Now he calls, very neatly, he calls the plot the motion picture. But the story is the emotion picture. Now the reason we like films and stories is not the plot. We forget about this happened and this happened. What gets us is the emotion picture, the story, the thing that gets you here in the heart. Sorry, the plot is what's happening in your brain, the story is what's happening in your heart. If it makes you cry, if you care about the characters, if you can completely suspend disbelief and think, oh my God, this is really true, and I kind of know how it feels, then you've made a good movie. So always in your screenwriting, look to see what's going on emotionally. How are the characters changing? How are they reacting? All those things. That's where the real heart of the story is.
So what about dialogue? It seems that...
No, just let me hold that for a second. So that's the heart of the story, and go from there. The second thing is that I learned from a good teacher is that stories have a tension in them between something called mystery and suspense, right? Mystery is sort of focused on the past. How did we get to this point in the story? How did these characters end up here like this? The suspense is what's going to happen next. So it's a tension, like an elastic band, between the past and the future. And it's kind of going like this. It's strong and then it weakens. Now, take someone like Alfred Hitchcock, right? He could do this very well. You see a scene in a Hitchcock movie, there's a couple having dinner, and under the table there's a bomb, all right? Now the audience knows the bomb's there, but the characters don't. So what you're thinking as a viewer is, how did that bomb get there? That's from the past. That's the mystery. How did the bomb get there? What's it made of, etc. The suspense is, when's the bomb going to go off?
Yes.
Right? When is it going to go off? And so the tension is between mystery and suspense. I'll give you another example. Supposing you're seeing a stage play, and on stage is Brad Pitt and Jennifer Lawrence. You know, fantastic actors, fantastic presence. And they're doing a brilliant scene from, maybe it's a Shakespearean movie. And there they are on this side of the stage, going, and everybody's entranced by this. What happens then is a dog walks on stage from the other side of the stage. And the dog's just sort of walking and sitting there like dogs do. And what's the audience thinking? They're not looking at Brad Pitt and Jennifer Lawrence. They completely don't care about them anymore. They're looking at the dog. Now, why are they looking at the dog? Because it does, in a perfect way, it gets their attention with this tension between the mystery and the suspense. Because you're thinking, how did the dog get there? Where did he come from? That's the mystery. The suspense, it's what's he going to do next.
Exactly true. Yeah.
So in your writing, you're always looking to see if you can create that kind of tension between mystery and suspense all the way through. So when you're writing and when you assess your screenplays, that's what you should look for.
Okay. So what about dialogue? It seems that dialogue is central to screenwriting, obviously. And we mentioned Woody Allen before. Lots of clever and witty dialogue. And Tarantino, he likes to make his characters talk too much, perhaps. And then there are some films where there's very little said. For example, the Russian film The Return, which we have spoken about, you and I. Sparse dialogue and great locations, but also a brilliant movie. So what's your position on dialogue?
Dialogue, whether you have more of it or less of it, like Woody Allen has a lot, Tarantino completely overwrites, in my opinion, or whether you have very sparse dialogue, kind of depends on the story you're trying to tell and the mood. We mentioned the Russian film, The Return. There's something about sparse dialogue that seems to belong to countries like that, Russia and so on, you know. American films tend to have more dialogue. And of course, Woody Allen needs lots of it to make his films work. One of the tricks, if you like, with dialogue is called the Goldman rule. William Goldman was a famous screenwriter. I'm not sure he's alive now, but he wrote films like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, The Marathon Man, Misery, Stephen King adaptation. And he came up with this idea. He said, with dialogue, and it's really to do with scenes, he said what you should do is look at the dialogue in your scenes and cut and get into the scene as late as possible and exit the scene as quickly as possible. So let's say you write something. What he's saying is there's some core thing that needs to be said, but you got some preamble before you get to that. And then there's what I call a postamble, that sort of you keep talking after the scene's effectively finished. So you look at all your scenes to see how much you can cut out at the top of the scene and at the bottom of the scene. Now to illustrate this, and we talked about this before, you and I are going to do a little scene from something I wrote, all right? And I'm going to give you two versions, right?
Okay.
Now the story is about a boy, a young man and a woman, a young woman who meet and then they have a coffee in a cafe, and she seems an inquisitive type. And then she tells him, it's Paul and Annika. She tells him that she's got nowhere to stay that night. So he looks at her and thinks, okay. And the next scene, he's in his second floor apartment and he's about to turn the key into the lock. And this is the dialogue that happens. If you like the first version we've written. Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
I'm going to play Paul and you're going to play Annika.
Okay. So how long have you lived here?
About 2 years,
Oh, it's an interesting area. Bohemia?
I guess.
How old are you?
You ask a lot of questions.
You don't want to tell me?
I'm 28. How old are you?
I'm a woman. I don't do age.
I thought we were past all that.
Meaning?
You know, men and women equal everything. Okay, so that's the scene. That might be the way it was written. Now, using the Goldman rule, if you examine this thing, this is how it ends up, right? So remember, I'm Paul, and I'm turning the key in the lock. And you're standing beside me, and you're just looking at me. Here's how it goes.
How old are you?
You ask a lot of questions.
You don't want to tell me?
I'm 28. How old are you?
I'm a woman. I don't do age.
Great. So that's the scene. So you get the gist of it. So my advice to young filmmakers is always look to see how you can trim your dialogue right down. Because if you don't, and you shoot the whole scene, you're using up resources, time, energy, setups, everything, shooting all this stuff. And then you get to the edit in post, and you find you cut the thing out anyway, right? Another thing they say about scenes, if you can't be, it's called kill your babies. right? What it means is your favorite scene that you spent 4 hours writing and polishing and everything, if it doesn't belong in the story, it's going to be cut out in the edit anyway. Don't spend $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 shooting a scene because you think, gee, I really want that scene, because you know what's going to happen? They're going to cut it out in the edit. So try and trim everything down to the essentials. And that's called kill your babies, because it usually means killing your favorite scenes, right? Now, I'm going to show you a film in which I was taken with the location. It's a ransacked house out in the woods. And I tried to write as little dialogue as I could. So this was a film that I tried to make where I could almost tell the entire story with a couple of lines at the end. And that's kind of what it amounts to. The film is called Smoke. Let's watch it.
Okay.
Okay.
You sure?
Yes.
Well, if that's what you want, there's nothing much more I can say, is there? Okay then, fine. Let's just be done with it.
So in this film, there's very little dialogue, and so it ends up leaving a very open ending by particularly the last word and the conversation of the old man.
Open endings are great because it's actually an extension of the idea of mystery and suspense, right? The film is finished and you want to leave the film thinking, especially if they're involve relationships, and most films in one way or another involve some kind of relationship between people. You want to end the film ideally with a question mark. What's going to happen next, right? And an ideal scenario might be if you're coming out of a cinema and let's say you've gone with your partner or a friend, and ideally if it's a man and a woman, and you walk out thinking, I wonder what's going to happen next. Are they going to stay together? Are they going to break up, etc.? Because it kind of stays in your mind. If it's all closed and it's all ended and that's it, then it's not as compelling.
So what advice would you give young filmmakers who are starting about how can they get this experience of both screenwriting, directing, editing, cinematography, and how to hone their craft? What advice could you give them?
There's two things. One is just make stuff, you know. Cameras are pretty cheap. You can make films with iPhones now, brilliant work. Learn the basics of lighting, etc., and just go and make stuff. So as an example, let me give you an example. I told you earlier, listen to jokes, things like that. Now here's an idea that occurred to me recently, right? It's basically a daddy joke, right? But you can make something of it. Film which is probably going to be on screen for maybe a minute and a half at best. There's a woman in the kitchen, she's like 35, something like that. She's doing the dishes, and her husband walks into the room and says, the 2 pieces of pizza left over from last night, the kids are refusing to eat them. What should I do? She says to him, just throw them out. So off he goes, and 10 seconds later he comes back and he says, I threw them out, but what do I do with the pizza? If you think about it, there's a setup, there's a minor complication, and then there's the payoff. Now, the interesting thing with that, in terms of screenwriting and filmmaking, is where does the camera finish? It should be on the woman, looking at the man, because he's just said, I threw them out, but I've still got the pizza. What does she think of him? Is he an idiot? Do we know that? Or is she going to be exasperated? Now, don't tell her to take a deep breath and go like that. Work on the inside. Give her some reason internally to portray what she thinks of this husband. And you've got a film. And honestly, there's competitions for films that are less than a minute, you know, all over the world. Enter that film in a competition. I'm pretty sure you'll do well.
So have you made ones like that?
Yes, here, actually, I think I've gone further than that because I didn't learn this tip that I'm giving you to later in life. But I've got a lot of screenplays. In fact, I'm thinking of writing something like 30 screenplays based on these kind of 1-minute films and just go and make them. Even later in my film career, just go and make 30 films that are all going to be less than 1 minute.
So do you have a film like that you could show us?
Okay, I have, but I'll tell you another way to do it. If you want to learn the craft of filmmaking, pick a scene, and don't pick something exotic, like a Woody Allen movie or anything like, you know, social drama. Pick a scene that you like, a couple of minutes or whatever, and recreate it exactly the way you see it. So in the doing of that, you learn about the lighting, the art, and you get a couple of actors, and they've now got a template to do it. So they're going to kind of imitate the actors, but they've got to get into the actors from the inside out. I always say it's not about looking like somebody, it's how do you feel like that person, and just go make it. So here's something I did. I took a scene, the last scene from a Humphrey Bogart, Lauren Bacall film called The Big Sleep, which I loved, the ending, and I recreated it, right? So I'm going to show it to you now. I'm going to show you the Bogart film, the Bogart Bacall film, then I'm going to show you my version. And the reason I can use the Bogart film is its copyright is 75 years in America. I don't know what it is here. So it's now something like 77 years since this film was made. So I can use it freely, the music, everything. So let's have a look.
It won't take him long.
What are you going to...
Wait a minute, let me do the talking, Angel. I don't know yet what I'm going to tell him, but it'll be pretty close to the truth. And you'll have to send Carmen away from a lot of things. They have places for that. Maybe they can cure her. It's been done before. You'll have to tell your father about Regan. I think he can take it.
You've forgotten one thing. Me.
What's wrong with you?
Nothing you can't fix.
It won't take him long.
What are you going to do?
Wait a second. Let me do the talking, Angel. I don't know yet what I'm going to tell him, but it's going to be pretty close to the truth. You're going to have to send Carmen away from a lot of things. There are places for that. Maybe they can cure it. It's been done before. We'll have to tell your father about Regan. I think he can take it.
Well, you've forgotten one thing. Me.
What's wrong with you?
Nothing you can't fix.
I thought that was a really interesting take on one of my favourite films, and the way they look at the whiskey bottle at the end was actually quite a shock and a surprise, and made me laugh. So, what can you tell us about Firelit Films?
Well, in my current stage of making a career or being a filmmaker is that I've got these 4 screenplays, feature-length screenplays. One looks like a pretty expensive one. It's called Serena and Her Sisters, but the others are contemporary, easier to make films. Cast and crew is kind of easier if you write something good. People want to work on good stuff. The thing is, you need certain amounts of money to make films, even if you just have to feed the crew. I mean, if you have, let's pick an example, 25 people on set, and you're going to spend $40 a day just to feed them, that's $1,000, right? You shoot for 30 days, the food bill alone is $30,000, right? So you need some amount of money, right? So how do I get these made? Now, one thing I've seen with, and I've done it myself in the past, is in order to make things, let's talk feature films at the moment, because every filmmaker's ultimate ambition is to make a feature film. You make the short films, but you're looking one day to make the feature film. I'm advising, don't write business plans, which are 20, 30 pages long, right, and have all kinds of stuff in them. And effectively what you're trying to tell investors, let's call them investors, how you're going, please invest in my film, and the business plan is going to show you how you're going to make your money back. Every dollar you put in, you're going to get a 20% return within 18 months. And how am I going to do that? I'm going to get the film into the Cannes Film Festival. It's going to get shortlisted, and then it's going to go on Netflix, and it's going to be shown all over the world, and we're going to make $1 million, right? That's all nonsense, because most savvy investors don't believe any of that, right? So here's what I suggest. Say to investors, you can even preamble it by saying, I know you've got money in the bank, big superannuation, you own property and all that, right? I want you to invest in my film, right? And I'm going to, my business plan is 2 pages, right? Now there are 4 people who have invested in the film, other than the creation of it. One is the people who put money in, the investors. The company that makes it wants to get some money back. deferred payments to actors. So you tell actors, I should pay you $1,000 a day or more. I'm going to give you $100 a day. Will you do the film? And I tell you, write a good screenplay, and actors will say yes. There's very little work. If you get into something like Showcast, which is a database for actors, and if I type in looking for an actress, right, in Australia, between the ages of 25 and 35, and no more other description, just a woman, female actress 25 to 35, I will find in the database maybe 2,000 women. Getting parts in film is impossible. Good actors will do anything if you write a good screenplay. So I always go back to writing a good screenplay. So then what you say is deferred payments, right? And then finally royalties. I've got a film in which I've got maybe a 2-minute scene with which I could see Eric Bana playing. Eric Bana lives in Melbourne, and I know somebody who knows his best friend, right? So I've got a connection. If I go to Eric Bana and say, will you do this 2-minute scene? It's only a one-night shoot. I'm not going to pay you. You don't need money, right? I just want you to do the film. He'll probably say yes, because it's nothing for him, right? And he's a good old Aussie guy. So what you have to do to say to your investors, put in money into the film, give me 20 grand, and think about it as you're contributing to the creativity of the country, right? And in return, I'm going to say to you, I don't guarantee any money back. If the film makes money, you'll get your money back plus whatever. We'll have a share of these 4 people, right? You, the investor, the production company, the royalties I have to pay, and the deferred fees. We'll figure out how to split that. Now, here's another thing I'm going to give you. I've got a scene with a bartender who turns to the main character and says, what do you have? And they say, we'll have a grasshopper cocktail. And he says, sure. I'm going to put you in that scene. You're going to play the bartender, right? But I need more than your money. I need $20,000 from 10 people. So I'm going to say to all my 10 investors, you're going to play that scene, right? And I'm also going to be honest and tell them, when I cut the film, there'll be 10 versions of the film with each of you playing the bartender, the 10 people, the 10 investors. Only one will get picked, the best of them will get picked for the film that goes out into the world. But I'll give you a copy of you playing the part, right? And you be in those credits, right? And you can show them to all your family and your friends. And I'll give you a DVD or a Blu-ray or whatever, and you can put that on your shelf. And it'll be there forever. Even if Blu-rays and CDs disappear, when you die in 50 years' time, you can take it to your grave with you, that you were in a film. That's it. Okay. So to end this very interesting interview, Irena, and I've really enjoyed it, I'm going to break a rule called breaking the fourth wall and look straight into the camera.
Okay.
And I'm going to say to anyone watching this, if you have some money lying around and you've got too much of it and you don't know what to do with it, you need to talk to me. And so basically what I'm asking you is to throw money at me, right? And if you need inspiration in order to motivate you to do this, remember the character Rob Schneider, who appears in Adam Sandler's films, The Waterboy, Happy Gilmore, The Wedding Singer. And he's usually a character in the crowd, and he says, "You can do it!"